So now it's about 5 o'clock. I shot a video on how to build this stand. I got the stand built. Let's take a look at it. We've got the layout here. Then we've used 2x8x10s. We've used cinder blocks again. We actually gapped them out from the stand a bit to accommodate. Since this is only 15.5 inches here, we need a little bit extra because we're running 40 breeders. So we were going to run 1, 2, and then right here I'm going to put a 75 for the turtles. And then up top here I'll probably end up running 40 breeder, 40 breeder, 40 breeder, and I might be able to fit a fourth one. We're going to see how that actually pans out. Worst case scenario again, I could put a 75 up top, or I can do what I did over there, and that's where I bridge the 40 between the two. I could probably do that here when I put the other side of the stand up, which won't be for a while. I've got a lot of tanks to paint and drill and do all that. I've also got to take down this lighting up here. I've got to run air line and power, just like you see up there. I've got to run a drain line, which the drain line's right here. I just got to install it, so we got to run that drain line still. And that's going to be hanging off the back over here. Going to run the drain line all the way down. But that's what I got done in an hour. But I did notice some things while I was working, and it's always cool to see projects starting to turn out. So this here is the Super Red Bristlenose breeding tank. And if I zoom in there, you can see that's probably the female. She's always been there. But what you don't know is I added the male I had at the shop about 3 days ago or so. And I noticed when I was walking by today that we've got eggs. So if I can zoom in there, you can see that's a clutch of Super Red Bristlenose eggs. So yeah, that's exciting. I don't know exactly where the male is. He ended up choosing this this cave made out of a coconut as opposed to my other caves, but I don't know where he's hiding. Usually they're inside there fanning the eggs, but I don't want to necessarily lift it up just to take a peek and then have them not take care of it. I'm trying to see here if I can see. I can't quite catch it, but it looks like someone might be starting to eye up, so I might be a day or two late on these, noticing that they're already out. Like maybe they got laid the first day or something, I'm not quite sure. But we're lucky that they laid in this cave and we can take a view into it. So even though we've been hard at work, so have the fish, so that's always fun and encouraging. I'll probably produce a whole video on how to breed Super Red Bristlenose and different stages of fry and how to raise them up and that type of thing. So it's great. The fish room's already creating more content to shoot, which is helpful because a lot of times I just run out of ideas. And yeah, so now it's back to working on the fish room, and we'll check in later. So it's been another hour. It's like 6 o'clock now, and I have to stop again because I've run out of parts. I should know better than think I've bought everything I need for the day, but let me show you what I bought you, and then I'll explain what I don't have. So I literally thought, okay, buy lots of extra PVC. I bought 21 elbows so I can put them on the bulkheads. I bought 30 normal elbows because I want to put them in the tanks to raise the water level and do any random plumbing. I bought 21 barb fittings in here, and what's going to hold this whole project up and is going to cause me to go to the hardware store. Luckily I've got an Ace Hardware close by, so it'll only be a 20 minute detour, but I need one more coupling, and I could make one out of a T and stuff like that, but I'm so enraged that I'm just going to go buy one. I need one more coupling so I can run that line and tie it in right there. And then the air system will be done for this run. I also wrestled with the wood burning stove here. Got it disconnected and got a makeshift kind of plug done for now till I make that really airtight and better. It's just a stick-on tile that doesn't stick to the ceiling very well. So I screwed it in for now. That's just gonna have to be, but I swear you can never have enough PVC fittings. You know, of course, I need 1 inch, and I have 3/4 of an inch, and I have 1 1/4 inch of the coupling. But that's the way it goes. So even though I bought like 100 fittings today, I'm still 1 short, and I'm convinced that I will never get through a day of building in the fish room without having to go to the hardware store after I start building. Even though I tried, and I wrote down a list, and I got everything I could think of that I could possibly need for today, I did not anticipate that I would need that many couplings, and I swear I should have more sitting around, but now I'm going to go buy a few because they're expensive at Ace Hardware, and the next time at Lowe's or Home Depot I'll start buying contractor packs of those too. So I'll see you back probably. Next video probably the air will be done, and we'll check in and see how long it took. So we'll see you then. Hey guys, like 6:45, maybe even 7 by now, I don't even know. But got the parts I needed, bought the store out, which they only had 7, but you know, I didn't want to delay myself by buying not enough. But let me show you what I got done so far. So we finished the air manifold line going down this row. I also put in a power strip, which is right there. I've just got it plugged in over there loosely at the moment. It's connected on the switch, so it's not really that useful, but you know, long term I'll probably be taking down all of these shop lights anyway, and then I can control you know, stuff with the switch if I want. Some things I've been thinking about, some more videos, and maybe you guys can give some input on whether you'd want to see this, but I've got my little space here going here. It just kicked on actually, and it only kicks on for a couple minutes at a time because it's keeping the room about 78 degrees, which gives me a water tank, or a water temperature of about you know, 76 degrees or so, which I'm perfectly fine with. But I've got a kilowatt meter here, and this is the kilowatt meter for dummies, and just happens to be the cheapest one you can buy, so even though I've used them before. Anyway, this will show me how much in a month it's going to cost me to heat this fish room with this. And so I was thinking, what if I did a long-term project slash video on all the costs of electricity for the fish room. And so I would do this, I would do lighting, I would do the dehumidifier that I use, I would do lots of those things. And one, I'd know an exact cost. Two, you could kind of rough out costs for your fish room based on what you're doing, and that way you might have to buy a kilowatt meter. But yeah, so I was thinking of that, and then I was thinking this water tank that I fill up, you know, it's about, probably has about 250 gallons of water in it right now. But what I was interested in is the fact that the outside air temperature not this morning, but today when I was driving around was roughly 45 degrees, and you know, colder obviously at night. And I just filled this barrel up, you know, where I took out maybe 90%, put it in the tanks, and we're at 61 degrees. So roughly the ground temperature's coming out at 61 degrees, you know, water temp anyway, because it's cold water, that's all I've got out here. And I just thought that was interesting that it was, you know, 15 degrees warmer, maybe a little more than outside air temp. And then, so I've got a heater in here, and I've got that plugged in just now to start warming this up. But I thought we could put the kilowatt meter on that, and we can kind of extrapolate in the middle of winter when the water temperature, like for this one, we could say, okay, well, how much is it going to cost us if we always needed to heat water from 60 degrees to 80 degrees or whatever we're going to do. And you can get a price range there, and you know, like I already know that a 300 watt heater ran 24 hours a day forever, you know, for a whole month. It costs about $20 for our electric, and we have pretty expensive electric here in Seattle, so yeah, so let me know if you guys think that's a good project for me to do, or you know, a good thing you guys want to see, because it will take some time. Like it's going to take, I figure I need to run every electrical item in here for at least a week to get a, you know, a solid sample, you know, and that's the thing is, obviously that heater is going to turn on much less in the summer, and in a winter where it's way colder, it might turn on more, and vice versa. So, and you know, if you live in Michigan or Wisconsin or somewhere, which is crazy bad, and you're looking at, oh, it's negative 22 degrees today or something crazy, obviously your costs are going to go up a bit. But to even have a baseline, I think would be useful for a lot of people. So yeah, I might put that into motion. It's going to take a while. It might take me all winter to put that video together. But next, I'm trying to decide whether I quit and I just go pet the dog for the rest of the night and edit videos, or if I start working on plumbing, because that's where I think I'm kind of at next, is tying in plumbing to here, which if I do that, it starts a whole chain of events that I have to finish. Like if I don't, if I cut into this and put in, another pipe, I can't just not finish that part, because when auto water change comes back on, I'm gonna put water on the floor. So yeah, I gotta sit here and go, well, do I want to put in a solid, hour on this at least, if nothing goes wrong? Or do I want to call it a night? Or can I think of something else to do? The other things I could be doing is painting the back of this aquarium, and I've realized I'm probably going to have to piecemeal this stand together. I don't have enough brand new 40s or anything like that sitting around that I can just drill and set this whole rack up. Because I'm still not sure how many 40s I'm going to do, so I didn't buy a bunch yet or anything. I know I own enough to do at least this whole rack, and that's no problem, because it's all sitting over there. But like in theory, I probably need to get this tank cycled over here and get gravel in it and everything like that, and same with this one. And then I can move inhabitants out of 2 of those tanks, break down a whole stand, get those drilled, those painted, and then put them on the rack. And then I can use those once they're cycled to do the next one. And the cycling time won't be that long, because I can use some established gravel, and I can use, they already have sponge filters that are cycled, and we're just going to move those over. And so it's not going to be crazy long, but it's not as easy as just, oh, let me throw all the tanks on here, let me paint them all. And so it's kind of a delayed thing where, yeah, if I paint this, it's not that efficient because I'm only painting 1 tank at a time, so that's not that efficient. So maybe I'll buy a couple more tanks, or I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet. But the other thing I got to do, which I've been putting off for days, weeks even at this point, is I need to wash gravel, more crushed coral. I've got more bags of it in the van. I've got some more normal sand, and most of these tanks barely have anything in there. They've got enough to just start barely buffering the water, but some of them are just bare bottom. These are just tanks that I was using in quarantine at the shop. So ideally I want plants in all of them, or not plants, but gravel and substrate in all of them, so I can plant them out if I want to, or I can keep goldfish or whatever I want to do. But the bare bottom, I'm not going to run my fish room that way, even though it is more efficient. I don't doubt that. But I legitimately want to see, or I want to treat these tanks as like kind of show tanks. Like I would love to be looking at them and enjoying them, as opposed to just purely working. I thought I could show you guys one more thing on this little segment here. Here's the fry that you guys have seen last time. And you can see now they're swimming around, and they still have yolk sacs, as you can see. But yeah, so hopefully by Tuesday or Thursday or whenever my next day off is, I can release them into the tank and start feeding them and growing them up, and that's kind of a cool thing. So even though the fish room is not even close to being done, it's still giving me pleasure and producing stuff, which that's the whole reason I have it, and there's some fry down here with some guppies, and so even though the tanks are newly set up and they're not even super well seasoned, as I like to call it, to me a tank that's seasoned is something that's been set up for a long time. We've got lots of algae, lots of microfauna, so it might have little invertebrates and things like that are in the tank that you can't even really see by the naked eye, but fish can eat them and things like that. Notice here, I think my timer on my turtle tank's broken. Maybe I'll put another one on there, but Yeah, for some reason it just, yeah, I have to manually do it and it's not clicking right. So that's another, you know, but I guess I'm not even going to fix that because, you know, to fix that, the answer is put the 75 gallon in over there, get it on there, make it all work. You know, that's the answer is let's not put a band-aid over there, let's just get this working correctly. So yeah, I think I'm gonna look at drain and see if I want to tackle that today, or I'm gonna do a ton of gravel, or I'm gonna get super lazy. So I'll try and back in with what I get done, or if it's the end, but we'll see what I can do. Thought of one more thing I want to do before I wash all that gravel and stuff. Aquanut, which is someone who commented on the page, the YouTube channel, recommended this stuff called Flexi Seal for one of the PVC leaks I had. I haven't tried on that yet, but both those got fixed with the PVC cement, so it's kind of a non-issue. But I do have a very small leak at one of the, this is the first one out of all the ones I've done. This exact valve that I put in leaks just the tiniest amount, and it actually falls into the aquarium anyway. But when I go to build the tops and stuff like that, that's not a long-term solution. So I'm going to try this Flexi Seal on it, and it needs 24 hours to dry and that type of stuff. And so I might try a couple of coats and just not let the water change system go for a little bit and see if I can't fix that, because that would be really nice to fix this. It's a low pressure application. If I can fix this and not have to tear out this entire lower thing and redo it, which it's not that big of a job, but wouldn't it be nice as if in 5 minutes of spray painting, you know, with this clear coat stuff, I can fix it. You know, I'll spray it, you know, take 30 seconds today, and then I'll do it again tomorrow, and then maybe again the next day, and, you know, if it holds, you know, I owe Aquanut, you know, a coffee or a beer or something, at least a thank you, you know. So we'll see if this turns out, you know, huge thank you, and I will definitely, you know, in the next video when it works, thank him. And if it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. This stuff was like 12 bucks. And I did watch some YouTube videos and stuff, people fixing stuff with it, so I do think it'll work. I just have no idea if it's going to work in this application. And this is clearly a do as I say, not as I do thing, because I need to spray this like up underneath a tank in a weird angle that's over another tank, so I'm going to cover it really well, make sure nothing can fall into it and that type of thing. You know, but we will give it a try. Well, I went ahead and did it. Now I've got a lot of work ahead. As you can see there was an elbow there. Not anymore. So, yeah, now I gotta make these two play well with each other, which, you know, gonna use an elbow to do it. Hopefully it won't be that much work, but, yeah, then we just shoot over to there. So, when I say just shoot over, probably another hour of work, but that's what I'm doing. I'm not giving it easy tonight, so still early, only 7, and dinner's cooking, so hopefully I got a race, you know. Classic fish room building versus homemade tacos, so I'm under the gun, so I gotta get to work. I just learned a cool trick. Didn't know how to do it before, but you know, I'm 100% sure I didn't invent it, but it's working really nice for this. So let me show you. I'm plumbing in the drain line here, and I want to make sure I have the right run. Well, I just used a little clamp right here and set it to the number I needed, which was 22 inches. I need to be 22 inches here. And so this held my pipe while I glued it in over there. Now I just, I'm going to make a cut, and I'm probably going to do this the whole way through, because this is just awesome. I can use a couple more of these clamps and make this job way easier. And then I can come back in and I can strap it afterwards, because normally I have to put the strap and then kind of guess where it's going to hang. Now I can put the pipe in place and then put the strap in to the correct height. It's way better. Should have done that a million years ago, but just thought I would, you know, show you guys that tip. maybe this tip only applies when you're building a fish room. I have no idea. Maybe every plumber on the planet knows this trick and they do it all the time and I'm an idiot. Could be true. Not saying I'm not. But if you're doing this, these little clamps making this ridiculously easy. Wish I had thought of it on the other 2 stands. But definitely going to plumb the rest of this now, because now I'm kind of excited because it's easier than normal and doesn't take a million little adjustments. Instead, I'm just going to set the level and go from there. So let's see if my trick is amazing here. I've now hung the pipe. Can take the clamp out. Seems to be doing its job there. This one I bumped while I was putting it in, but it was in the center of the pipe anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. And then this one right here seems to work perfect. That made that a lot easier. And if couplings haven't beat me enough today, I don't own an ABS coupling right here to extend it a little more, and so I think I need to extend it to the end here, just because if I put a tank up here, I don't have to run the line kind of too far back and down. Normally I cap it off here, but being that normally I build 10-foot stands, and this is a 12-foot stand, you're going to be shocked. I'm 2 feet short. And so I need to put a coupling here and extend it out just in case. Also, I like having the end of it kind of at the end of the pipe, and that's because these aren't glued in. So if I ever got a clog or something like that, I could technically look down the line and maybe see, oh, where am I going wrong, that type of thing. Oh God, there's a billion years of duckweed or whatever, and I could, maybe clean the line or something like that. But being this is the high point, it shouldn't ever back up this far, and if it did, if I got some water on the ground here, I would know that something's not going right in the line. So I mostly just do that so gases or something like that doesn't escape back here. So now I feel like I gotta wash gravel until I'm summoned to dinner. So that's what I'm gonna do. You can see here, not really an issue, but this is gonna have to come out a little bit, because once I bring this tank back where it needs to be, because I pushed it in while I was using those clamps, it's gonna sit against the tank, and I wonder if that's gonna make some sound. Is water draining? I have no idea, so I'll probably put in a block or something right here just to bring it off the tank a little bit. But you can kind of see here, so we've laid the groundwork. You've watched weeks and weeks and weeks of me building. Well, not weeks and weeks and weeks, but definitely been tagging along for the ride for quite a bit now. And you're seeing how fast this is going up. At least I feel like it's going up fast, but a lot of the groundwork's already been laid, and so tying into drains we already have running, tying into air line we've already got running, that type of thing, it does speed up. And that's part of the reason why the first videos, you might feel like they're dragging along and it's taking so long, but that's the groundwork being laid so that every step along the way becomes just, it's just another building block, So here we are, we started way down here with the very first stand, and we tried something that didn't work, still need to take that out. I ended up putting in 2 drains. I've got a drain here and a drain here, and I decided, I can just go down to 1 drain. We bounce over to here, boom, next stand's up, we put the drains up, you watch that, put this one up, we tie into it over here, this one's gonna go up, and I've left plenty of room here. There's 3 feet, which I think is important, so that you can, I can pull a tank out, and I can stand behind here, and I can still touch it, but I've got some room to work. I'm going to be able to slide my stool, the sliding stool around in here, and also, if I ever have people over and they're looking at stuff, I can get by them, that type of thing. There's room to work. So yeah, now I got to rinse a bunch of gravel, but I've just got to put in 1 more stand here, and then, I just have to do the perimeter, and the perimeter hopefully won't be that difficult. You know, I'll probably relocate where the fridge is. Oh, see, I'm already making sounds, but you know, I figure tanks from basically here and on, and that's about a 12-foot span. So you think, okay, there's 9 feet of tanks right there, plus a fridge, plus that. It might be 14 or 15 feet. But I don't want to cut off that doorway, even though I've got it covered up. I want to be able to bring things in and out if I ever need to. So from there on, got another, you know, 12 to 14 feet. Then I'm going to tie, you know, it's going to wrap around here, and this drain is going to go all the way down to the end there. And so I've got this whole back wall, and from here to here is about 5 feet. And that's intentional, by the way. So that way, if I build out, let's say 18 inches worth of tanks or 12 inches worth of tanks, I still maintain 36 inches. Now right now, at this exact moment, I don't have 36 inches. I have about 2 feet right here. I can still walk through it, no problem, even with the drain there. So that's, you know, I've left myself some working room here. But once we move this into that corner, which that'll be a fun day, we're gonna stuff that in the corner, we plumb it, everything like that. It's gonna be really fun to see this, you know, really coming together. And yeah, so I'm just trying to talk more because I really don't want to do gravel, but it's now time to do gravel. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. Well, that's another day in the fish room. I'm calling it a night. I think it's about 8 o'clock at this point. As always, please give us a like. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. You know, let us know what you like, what you don't like. If you've got an idea for me, that's been working out pretty well. People, you know, letting their input in on what they've done in the past. And so yeah, we'll see you next time. And make sure you check out all the other videos we put out. We're putting out some quick tips now that may or may not have come out by the time this airs. By the time this episode airs, you should have seen the first ever Real Fish Talk episode. And so yeah, more series coming out, more things. We're going to keep you hooked on keeping fish. So we'll see you later. Thanks.